Dan Lyon, and I'm the regional feature film executive for Ontario and Nunavut. So I'm the decision maker for films in our region, and my main focus are what we call our talent building films. So our films budgeted between $250,000 and $2.5 million. Wow. We're involved in development, we're involved in production, and we're involved in marketing.
So what is Telefilm exactly?
Telefilm is a Canadian cultural agency. So our bosses are the taxpayers of Canada. Our mandate involves investment, promotion, and we have another two pillars. We like to call them the four pillars. In addition to enhancing investments and being more involved in promotion, our other pillars are being a thought leader. In other words, helping other people to engage with the way that our industry is evolving, and also organizational excellence, which essentially means spending the taxpayers' money in a very efficient manner. We also have about half of our employees, certainly in the Toronto office, are engaged in administering the Canada Media Fund. So that's on the television side of the equation, but I am on the feature film side.
So it's my understanding that, as having the Canadian Film Review, we see a lot on television. Anytime a film, at the end of it, quite often there's telefilm that has been a part of a film's creative process. In large part, Canadian films do owe a lot to telefilm, and not every country has that opportunity to have an organization like that. How is that different, and how does that work?
Well, when I travel, people I find, are very jealous of what we have in Canada. And I'm fond of telling people sometimes a producer or a director or a writer might get a little bit down from time to time. And I say, well, how would you like it if we were the exact same people as we are, with the same education and the same inclinations and the same aspirations in terms of our careers, but we happen to be born in South Dakota? Now, Canadians, honestly, are very well encouraged and supported between telefilm, the provincial agencies, the tax credits, the level of participation of the broadcasters, and all the different structures that we have. The encouragement, for example, of the CRTC in the form of Canadian content regulations. All of these things go to strengthen the industry. Stories come from surprising places when people are given appropriate encouragement. Right now we have a micro-budget program where we have 24 partners across the country in all regions of Canada. And essentially each partner who is an educational institution is recommending to us right now one of their alumni or one of their current students for film funding, which would be up to $120,000 from Telefilm. And we're going to be making the decisions on that in the next couple months. The micro-budget program is for films budgeted up to $250,000, and the low-budget program has been for films budgeted between $250,000 and $1.25 million. Okay. We are going through some changes in production that will be posted very shortly, but to give you a bit of a preview, we're going to have a lot more flexibility in 2013 so that our entire regional program will incorporate those lower budget films. And the micro-budget program is a standalone. It's a different program.
In my perceptions, I've seen Telefilm has had a huge shift in the last few years, and I wanted to ask you what those changes were, and moving forward, what are your sights set on?
Well, the program redesign is the result of consultations with our clients across the country. Our CEO, Carole Brabant, when she first got the job, made it a point to go across the country and speak to the industry. And one of the themes that she came back with was that the industry felt very close to Telefilm as an agency. They liked the people who work at Telefilm, but they felt that the industry has changed over the years so that now more responsibility should be placed in the hands of the producers, allowing Telefilm to have maybe a greater role in talent development for perhaps the lower budget films, but also getting the producers directly involved in that area as well. So for example, under the new development program, which is part of this redesign that came into force in 2012, we encourage eligible producers, we encourage them financially to take on at least one new talent, so it could be a new producer or a new writer, to take on that new talent under their wing and develop that project.
Did that come of the result of discovering where improvements could have been made, or where do you feel that there's strengths in the Canadian film industry, and where do we need those improvements?
R&D is a phrase used by industry people, and that's essentially one of the main businesses that Telefilm is involved in. We're R&D for the film business. It's very difficult, though, some people would say impossible, for one agency with a relatively small feature team to take on the entire R&D role for the film industry. So essentially, it's analogous to what's happening in society with social media, where you can't just have only a distributor being solely responsible for promoting a film. The producer is also responsible, and the whole goal would be to get an audience engaged using social media, and each one of the people who you engage becomes, in effect, a salesperson for your project. So the analogy is to Telefilm and to R&D, that we're using all of the experienced producers in Canada who are interested in participating. They all become part of our R&D for the new talent.
Nice. So you don't just fund films, you also have a large participation level in events.
Promotion is one of our 4 pillars. So sometimes we work with private partners such as Berks. We did a very nice thing during the Toronto Film Festival this past year, where we focused on talented women in the Canadian film business with Berks as our partner. We had a symposium in Ottawa that we co-financed with some other major institutions, which the whole goal was great work is being done on the production level. How do we get more Canadians engaged to seeing our films? On the average, Canadians see at least 3 films a year in the theater. And what we're asking is that everyone who has that habit, so whether maybe you only see 2 films, maybe you see 3, or maybe you see more than that, take that percentage, take that 1 out of 3 percentage, and devote a third of your film going to Canadian films. And basically, it's like an old commercial that played when I was growing up, try it, you'll like it. And we really feel that there's something for everybody. So if you liked comedies, then you probably liked Goon. If you like dramas, you probably liked Midnight's Children, which is Deepa Mehta's film released this fall. If you like documentaries, you probably enjoyed Stories We Tell, Sarah Pauli's film. So there really is something for everybody.